All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm speaking to today, I'm seeing that there's something going on with some friendship in your life or possibly a group of people. And within that, I see you trying to figure out how can I make this right, or how can I find balance within this situation or within this connection. Now, I'm seeing that in the recent past, there was quite a bit of confusion or overwhelm for you. It could have felt like there was some hidden information or just things you weren't sure about, and foundations kind of falling down, maybe things coming to light, leading to more confusion, a lot of chaos here, and not a lot of clarity within that chaos. In the current energy, I see you finding stillness in order to center yourself, but also feeling really kind of tired and exhausted from what you just experienced, and possibly talking about it with someone or expressing yourself in order to kind of process what happened. However, I also see you being quite guarded in a certain way, which makes sense, because if you're feeling a lack of clarity and you're feeling like there's a lot of unknown sort of elements here, you're going to be somewhat closed off, somewhat defensive in a way, and not defensive as in argumentative, but just sort of defending your heart space and keeping things close to the chest. In the future, I do see you moving forward. It turns into a bit of a struggle, or the struggle kind of continues for a little bit, but the more you keep moving forward, the swifter your journey becomes, the easier things become for you. And I also see you kind of achieving clarity, kind of, and things come full circle for you, even if, maybe there was something unclear in the beginning. So I'm going to dive deeper into these energies, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do love to do personal readings, and you can email me down below in the description box. Also, if you'd like to lend your energy to the channel and help me manifest messages that resonate more for you, you can like and subscribe. I recently realized that only a quarter of my returning viewers subscribe to the channel. So if you do appreciate these messages and you want to show your support for the channel, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. But let's see here, Sagittarius. Your oracle cards for the day are playfulness, conditioning, and completion. So I'm kind of seeing these as kind of separate energies that are all coming together. So with playfulness, we have this idea of bringing some levity to the situation. I think that this has been a very heavy time for a lot of you, whatever you've been going through here. And Spirit's saying, don't forget to play, don't forget to have fun, don't forget to laugh when you can. And with conditioning, there may be a way that you're interrupting the status quo, or what it is that you're used to, or the way that your mind typically works, and you may be bringing in some playfulness to that, or releasing expectations that you have. I'm definitely getting a lot of downloads about releasing expectations, so there could be something here that's moving in a very different direction than you were expecting, and the challenge here is for you to play in that experience and to kind of jump into the flow of the energy rather than resisting it. And then with completion here, there is a cycle closing out in terms of how you've been doing things so far, and closing out a way of being so that you can step into a new way of being. And Spirit's saying, you can kind of move through this as easily or as difficult as you want, with as much flow or as much resistance as you want. It's really up to you, but either way, things that need to end in your life are going to come to an end. Let's take a look at the recent past here. There was a sort of tower moment that happened, some foundation came down, and I'm seeing that you may not have been expecting it. That could be where releasing expectations came in for you. And it could have caused a lot of confusion, and it could have stemmed from a lot of confusion. This could have something to do with a Virgo. Don't take that if it doesn't resonate, but for many of you, Virgo energy is really significant here. There could be something about you healing your sense of stability and feeling taken care of, or feeling like you have to rely on yourself, and kind of that dichotomy. And so there could be this feeling of looking at something in your surroundings or looking at something that you relied on as stable and kind of realizing, oh, like maybe I'm kind of alone in this. Or there could have been something that happened that made you wonder if you could trust an energy around you or if you just had to rely on yourself. For others of you, you could have just kind of had something happen that kind of triggered you into feeling like you needed to take care of things by yourself. And it's not even a lonely energy necessarily, but it's lonely in the sense that when this happened and you had this feeling of, oh, I can only rely on myself, that could have made you feel lonely. But I'm actually seeing that many of you are very stable on your own, and that whatever came up here just kind of challenged that sense of inner stability and kind of made you question, how do I feel about relying on myself? Like, how is my relationship to the things that support me? Am I relying on them too much? Am I codependent on those things? That kind of an energy. Because there is something here in your environment that came down with the Tower card. Whatever it was that you were relying on or that you thought was stable, it's like all of a sudden that energy started to speed up and things may have gotten really chaotic here. And I see you kind of trying to hold on for dear life, and possibly being really confused in this, trying to figure out what is the truth, what is really going on here, what can I believe, who can I trust. And so I see there being a lot of chaos there, and you possibly trying to hold on to any sort of olive branch here that you could. In the current energy, I do see that this has settled down to a degree, but you're changed on the other side of it. You're not feeling possibly as open or as easy about this as you were before. The devil is at the bottom of the deck, so there could be some sort of toxic or unhealthy element to this that looks pretty exhausting to you. And I see you kind of finding clarity in the situation and beginning to rest after whatever this tornado was, but definitely being a little bit, I'm seeing like the energy, the vision of like a torn shirt, but you're the torn shirt, and it's like you're still a shirt, you're still wearable, and you're still you. The integrity of who you are is still there, but you have been through the ringer a little bit and you have some scars to show from it. And so as a result, I do see you being quite practical, quite logical, and also having a lot of realizations about this situation. There's something that you're realizing and learning about love and partnership and the way that you connect to the people that you love. And kind of asking yourself maybe like, why do I trust the people that I trust? What does love really look like in my life? And really going within to learn from this experience and to understand on a deeper level what it is that makes your partnerships what they are. You're definitely going through a period of growth and a period of realizations. I do see you lacking some trust because maybe someone showed their ass. I don't know like how else to put that, but it's kind of like you saw something that you can't unsee, and it was something pretty unhealthy, pretty toxic, pretty ugly. And so you're showing me like, now that I know, I'm just proceeding with caution. I'm not writing anyone off. I'm not totally taking myself out of the game here, but I'm proceeding with caution because I've noticed some things that are concerning to me. There could be some disappointments or regrets about things that were said, a conversation that was had, maybe this feeling of speaking too soon, or an exchange of information that didn't go well. I'm also getting the sense of like massive misunderstandings, like things that maybe weren't meant to be said were said, things that weren't meant to be known became known, not necessarily through you. There's a very like tangled sort of energy here when it comes to the communication, the dialogue that was had, and I see you kind of reflecting on it and trying to be more logical and maybe like less impulsive about what you say. And this isn't even to say necessarily that you said something wrong or that this is your fault or something like that, but I just see you reflecting and realizing like the power of your words or something like that, and being like, oh, I have to be careful and I have to be intentional about what is said. There could also be like this thing of like, this is an energy that's attached to you if it's not you. Maybe someone gossiping or someone making you feel like you can't really trust what they're saying to other people, and a sense of disappointment of like, oh, I thought I could trust that person, because it comes through as a blockage, a major blockage. And I see you kind of trying to, or wanting to move forward and kind of put this in the past, but it's not that simple. It's like there are energies here that need to be wrapped up, they need to be addressed. Whatever, loose ends came undone, or went flying around, or whatever mess was made kind of needs to be cleaned up here. And it feels like no matter what you do, it could feel very difficult to just move forward. And so I see you slowly taking one step in front of the other, trying to work on things here, but not really being able to like fly forward with your usual momentum, because I'm seeing that energy here of how you would be, but then this thing comes in as a blockage. It's quite a bit of baggage. Let's take a look at that blockage here. This is where that conditioning comes in, that sense of expectation. It's like you had this idea that something was going to be your wish fulfillment. Something was going to make you happy. Everything's great here. Nothing's wrong. This is my home space, or these are my people, or something like that. And then all of it gets thrown into question, and you're kind of like, can I trust this? Is this really what I thought it was going to be? Is this really what makes me happy? And it's almost like your whole sense of self gets kind of smushed up and moved around and comes out in a different shape in a way, but it's not actually who you are. It's how you connect to these things outside of yourself. So it's something outside of you and the way that you relate to it that's changing. And as it changes, I see you kind of questioning your sense of self, or like what feels best for you, and it really affects your ability to move forward, because to you, you're not just moving forward alone, you're moving forward in relation to these other energies. And I think that that's why you're kind of considering, who am I outside of the external? Like, who am I, and how do I move through these connections, and how do I move through my own life? So really big questions in this reading today. You'll be happy to know that I do see you taking off. I do see you continuing on your journey. Many of you may be moving or driving somewhere, traveling, and I see that that is going to really lighten up your energy as well. You're not going to feel as bogged down by some of these energies once you kind of get out of the physical space that you're in, and you're going to receive some clarity then. But yeah, I see a lot of understanding coming to you through movement. So some of you are going to be making a decision to move or to travel or to expand your horizons. Others of you, once you expand your horizons, that's when you're going to receive some type of insight, or you're going to make some type of decision. And it comes through as a very confident decision that's kind of led by your higher self. And it's going to feel really, really good. And I see that before you get to that place, you're going to feel a little bit stuck. And then it's almost like you're moving, and then you pull yourself out of this rut and you're flying. And once you step into that more flowing energy, that's when you're going to have a clear understanding of what to do next. I see you in the current energy, you're kind of actively moving through these kind of toxic energies, or these unhealthy energies. You may still be around them. And I see you kind of like, needing to release some of those feelings that are keeping you a little bit stuck, and not just the feeling of it, but like the experience of it, and be like, you know what, I'm just going to move on. And in the past, you may have been kind of holding on to whatever this was, trying to keep it all together, keep the foundations together, and it's getting to a point where that's no longer really realistic for you. And so I see you going through this grief process, and then moving forward and kind of realizing, okay, this is the right way to go. And also, as you move forward, I see you receiving support from other people around you, and and your relationships start to move forward as well. And so it starts from within and from you kind of taking your power back in your life and saying, you know what, I need to do what's best for me. And right now, being around these toxic energies is not good for me. What I need to do is move forward for myself. And then once you start moving forward from yourself, putting yourself first, making decisions that feel good to you, even if they don't necessarily make sense to other people, but they make sense to you, that's when I see your relationships with other people starting to align. There may be like you need a little rest from certain connections, especially connections that feel unbalanced or feel toxic. Those connections are asking for a resting period, and by you taking the chance to travel or move forward on your own path and let these connections evolve however they're going to evolve, you're actually giving them a sort of natural space to move however they need to move without you being as closely connected. Let's get 3 cards of advice from the universe. Spirit saying take the time to go within and be still and really consider what it is that you're meant to be doing. And what it is, when I say what it is that we're meant to be doing, I don't mean just like picking a job, which could be the case for some of you. But I mean like in terms of what feels most aligned for you, make sure that you're centered when you're making those decisions and that you're doing what you need to do to get centered within yourself. So for some of you, this could be like when you're rock climbing and you get into that flow state, and maybe you go rock climbing with your friends, but at the end of the day, it's you up against the wall, climbing that wall. Or for others of you, it's like when you're journaling, and maybe you're in a writing group with other people, but at the end of the day, it's you and your journal. And whatever you need to do to connect with yourself and go within to really have that internal process, Spirit's asking you to manifest from a clear place and to make sure that you're taking the time to be silent and be still and manifest from that place of inner strength and personal wisdom, because there is something here about who you are within yourself and then how you relate outside of yourself. And if you're surrounded by any type of toxicity or people who are doubting you or doubting themselves or anything like that, that can really distract you and that can pull your energy in a lot of different directions. And so Spirit's saying, don't be afraid to center your energy and to trust yourself above all else. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.